Hi, I'm Hannah, co-host on Oh My Podcast. Founded by two entrepreneurs from Hanoi, based in Vietnam and the Netherlands, Oh My Podcast was built for young people to share and listen to stories of the two co-hosts and special guest speakers every month around not only their businesses and career, but also their daily life. In this special episode, speakers will also share about their oh my moment, a time of struggle or tough situation that has caused them to start a business or take on the current life path. Because we care, we share. Meet special guest of the month, Akina from Japan, a location-independent entrepreneur, international speaker, digital nomad, writer, and explorer at heart. Hi, Akina.
Hi, Hannah.
So can you talk a bit more about yourself and maybe explain to our audiences what the location-independent entrepreneur means?
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Akina. I'm a digital nomad from Japan, and I actually used to work at a publisher for almost 8 years. But since 2020, I met so many digital nomads in Bali, and that's where I decided to be a location independent entrepreneur. And ever since then, within that year, I've traveled more than 15 prefectures and 30 cities in Japan first. And next year, I'm thinking of traveling around the world. So, thanks. That's me.
Wow. And also, would you like to explain more to our audiences what digital nomad or being location independent is like?
Sure. So, digital nomads means you carry a laptop and you can work anywhere, anytime you want. So, for example, even though I'm based in Tokyo, in Japan, currently I'm in Ibaraki Prefecture with my laptop and I'm recording podcasts with Hannah. So, this is kind of like location independent lifestyle.
Wow, yes, and you've been to so many places, and actually, we haven't even met in person, and I've never
Yeah.
been to Japan. But I'm so excited to have you as like the very first special guest on a podcast.
Oh, I'm very
Yeah,
honored. Thank you.
and let's share a bit more about your book.
Sure. So, after working at a publisher for 8 years, I decided to leave my 9 to 5 hours work and I took my path to travel around the world with my dad. And I applied for one of this program called Peace Boat in Japan. And if you are accepted as an interpreter, that you can actually get a free ticket to travel around the world. So I took that test and I got accepted as an interpreter, and I decided to take my dad to travel around the world together. So based on the true story, I drew a picture book called Around the World with Dad, and I published it, and then it got top 1 rank in 5 fields in Amazon Book.
Wow, congratulations!
Thank
And
you.
how does your job, or I wouldn't say it's job, but how does your work look like nowadays, like on a daily basis?
Nowadays, since I used to work at a publisher, so I still get some job as a writer from publisher. Also, I started web marketing and copywriting, also how to attract new customers through SNS. So I use all these skills to do some consultation to some companies. Plus, I'm also preparing to launch my podcast, also all media to um, attract new people aspiring to digital nomads to tell them how to be the one.
Yes, and I've also known that you were brand ambassador for a business called Have, and you also ran your kind of small business or community called Coco Have back then, right?
Right, yeah. So I was assigned as a brand ambassador in Japan, which is co-living platform. So That was really a fun job for me because I got a lot of opportunities to visit a lot of different prefectures and trying a lot of co-living places, also co-working places, and I was kind of doing PR for that companies to global people, right? So it was so much fun. And class, I was running my own community last year in 2020, which is called Coco Hub, was about I was teaching some skill sets to be a digital nomad, but then I decided not to hold that community anymore, actually. But now I'm working toward to make website that I am going to tell what kind of lifestyle the digital nomad would be. So yeah, I'm kind of shifting my business towards to more like something new recently. Yeah.
Yes, and we've been doing also so many events in order to educate people about this digital nomad lifestyle. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see you, spread this message and also this kind of unconventional way of living more to other people.
Mm,
And it seems like
mm.
you're doing so many things at the same time. And so
Yeah.
how do you like how do you manage your daily life, and is there like a secret technique that you want to
Mm,
share to our audience to help them focus and just go
mm,
through their priorities in a day?
mm. Well, yeah, I usually get super overwhelmed with so many things. As Hannah said, that I am very curious about so many things at the same time. But the one thing that I'm keep doing is that morning yoga and meditation. So every morning, right after I wake up, I take at least 15 minutes to do some easy yoga stretching, and then after that, doing morning meditation to make sure that I can have a good mental situation every day.
Oh yes, I love doing yoga and meditation. I used to do meditation every morning, but now just Monday morning, and then other mornings I'm
Mm.
so busy. And then yoga for me is like 4 p.m. But now the gym is closed in Vietnam, so
Mhm.
I'm just like back to my slacking, lazy mode, and I'm just trying to get out of it. But now
Mhm.
I'm getting into a new habit of reading, so that's like feels like a really harsh training for the brain and a lot
Mhm.
more for the body. Mm.
Mm.
And so, do you think that's like your one daily habit that strongly it contributes to your success, or is there any other thing? For example, like with writing the book, is there any habits that you have to maintain in order to get that
Mm.
done?
Mm. Well, I feel like recently I'm focusing on my mental health a lot because I feel as long as we are healthy, like physically and mentally, I believe we can do anything. So that even though there are always ups and downs, especially when we fail something, we tend to think that, oh my God, like we can not do anything anymore. Like we don't want to try something new anymore because we are afraid of failure. But I try not to take things like that. I try to think, okay, so everything can be an experience, not a failure. So we learn from it. So in order to think in a positive way, I try to have a mental health by doing meditation. So that's also, key to be successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think as entrepreneurs, we have to be mentally really strong because we're gonna go through a lot of successes and failures, even like
Hmm.
just in a day or in a week or in a
Yeah.
month. So
Yeah.
that's like being on a roller coaster. But talking about failure, so I will move to the next part where we talk about overcoming obstacles in difficult
Hmm.
times. So I believe that every successful entrepreneur has all gone through a lot of failures, as you've mentioned, and also difficult times in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is going to be a bit more sensitive part of the conversations where I love you to share more about a challenging time or tough situation in your life, maybe even the one that's caused you to start this path. But then you persisted and you made the tough decision in order to get through that difficult time.
Mm. So definitely one of my challenging time was actually my mom's death. So 4 years ago, my mom was um, diagnosed as a cancer, and I went through taking care of my mom for a year, but unfortunately, within a year, my mom passed away. And after seeing my mom's death, I just realized that life is really too short to regret, and I should live my life to the fullest. So that was definitely one of my most challenging time. But now I can say, even though I still feel very disappointed of my mom's loss, but thanks to that, I could realize that I should live my life. So that I decided to leave my 9 to 5 hours work and take the first step to be freelancer first. Then after that, I decided to be an entrepreneur. So even though back then I felt, sometimes uh, the fate is not like good for me or it's unfair, but later on when you think back, then you realize that everything happens for the reason.
And like when or what was your oh my moment? What we call is when you realize that something has to be changed and you cannot continue living like this anymore.
Hmm.
Was it like after how long after her pass away?
Mm, it was about less than 2 years. It was about 1 year to 1.5 years ish for me to digest what happened to me. Also, even though I wanted to just jump into my new world, I was still afraid of losing my stable job. Plus, I was enjoying being a project manager for new projects at a company at that time. But then my dad had been super disappointed at my mom's lost for sure, and he's been texting me so many negative messages every day. And so I was like, definitely that was like, oh, my moment, like, oh no, like I should, you know take him out to see the world and cheer him up. Plus I also always wanted to travel around the world. So yeah, so within like 2 years I decided to take the new step.
Wow, that's really a good daughter of you because I've been to so many places but never took my mom or dad. And every time, so I
Yeah.
did take my mom around Europe, but every time that
Mm,
I go to a new place and I'm like, oh, I wish if my family could be here as well. And
mm,
I think just the fact that you've encouraged your dad to get out of that misery that you face as well is really
mm.
life changing. And did he change a lot after that?
Well, yeah, actually, my dad has been changed a lot after the trip. Um, what was surprising was that after the trip, he decided to move into a new house, and he even found a new roommate to live with him. And he also found a lot of friends who would like to play tennis with him. So definitely that was my relief, because one of my most important mission to travel around the world with my dad was definitely cheering him up, right? So that I could complete that mission. And after seeing him being enjoying his life, I kind of decided, okay, this it it's gonna be my turn to explore my new world. Yeah, so that's how I started to um, my digital nomads journey.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds like a small project of you with your dad, and now he's just
Yeah,
like he can function independently without you. So I get that
yeah,
was
yeah, exactly.